What's going on, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Jake and Joe Postgame Show presented by First Star Logistics, where we will have some sweet swag for you to win every week, even when the Bengals don't, as they heartbreakingly did not tonight. And right before we started recording, I told Joe that I might start this episode with a earmuffs word, let's say. So earmuffs on. If we need earmuffs on, then we'll get to our giveaways for today and next week and all that good stuff. Fuck, man. God, that was hard. Anyway, we've got a Bengals 18-inch neon clock to give away. Winners must be in the United States. To enter this week's giveaway, you're going to want to use hashtag Burrow to Chase in the comments here. Let me see if I can show you that one. There it is. Hashtag Burrow to Chase. And that will get you entered for one of our two giveaways. The other one will be coming from Twitter, where we had an opportunity for you to enter throughout the week. Next week, boy, does it get better. The giveaways just keep on coming here. And we've got Joe Burrow autographed helmets to give away. We'll have two winners. Winners must be, again, in the United States. Joe, as we do, we start with the big takeaway from another heartbreaking game that is 3 this year now. The first Ravens game that felt like they should have won. The Chiefs game that it felt like they should have won. And this Ravens game that it felt like they should have won. And instead of 7-3, like the Ravens, all 3 of those games go the other way. The Bengals now 4-6. Instead, what is your big takeaway from this game?
There are so many storylines for this game. So many. How many times can this happen is my big takeaway. How many one score, one play differences in one season can you have and end up on the wrong side? Just variance, right? Just the coin flip should get you on the positive side more often, or at least 50-50 at the very least. But as for a good team or team that did this so often in 2021, 2022 and came out on top, maybe we're just getting the inverse side of it and we're paying for, those past victories. But what a game, number one. If you're not a fan of either team, and maybe some people even this was a good game. It was fun. It was back and forth. It was exciting. The fourth quarter was absolutely crazy. The Bengals should have won by 2 scores again. Similar to the last time. You're up by 2 scores. You've got the ball. You've got a chance to control the game, and a fumble or an interception. It was interception in the first meeting. It was a fumble this time. Chase Brown. That play felt like, we were on borrowed time there, right? It felt like, this is too good to be true so far. They've been getting a little too lucky so far in this game. And then that happens and the Ravens were back. And you knew at that point it was going to be a fight for the rest of it. And I wasn't sure if the Bengals could muster up enough. Then the deep bomb to Chase. I'm like, okay. Then the Ravens get weird inside their 5 to end the game. And the Bengals get a chance and drive back down. And Burrow and Chase cannot carry the other 50-something players on the team. Apparently, nobody else can make a play. Cam Taylor-Britt can't make the interception. The 2021, 2022 teams make a play in those situations, and this team is not that.
The number of plays that were left on the field as you're talking through that are just staggering, especially when you look at the box score. The Bengals had 7 more first downs than the Baltimore Ravens. They were 8 of 16 on third down in this game. They outsnapped the Ravens by nearly 20. They outgained the Ravens
happens for them
by almost 100. Both teams eventually got their yards per play up, but the Bengals at one point in this game held the Ravens to 5 out of 6 drives to be 3 and outs. 3 and out to start the game. Touchdown drive on their second drive. 3 and out, end of half. I'm not counting that one. 3 and out. And I guess technically this was a 6 and out, 6 plays, 8 yards punt for the Ravens. That's the Ravens' first 6 possessions. It did not end the first half. And as much as I'm fired up about the way the defense finished this game, it was a full team meltdown at that point in the game. And going back to the beginning of the game, on the one hand, I like Zach Taylor's aggressiveness in this game in general. Yep. Going for the 4th downs that he went for, I liked. The decision 100%. To go for it, not necessarily the play calls. We can talk about those. Going for the 2-point conversion in regulation.
Love it.
I said on Twitter before they sent the offense back out there, at least on my stream, I am a proponent of going for 2 here. Hate that they didn't get it, obviously. Even if they do, who knows what happens? There's a lot of time left at that point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not
And
that it's easy to
timeouts.
manage the clock there, but the Ravens would have a chance. But man, you go to 2 Cam Taylor-Britt interceptions that could have been the very first defensive play of the game, could have been a spectacular interception. The interception that wasn't before the Ravens finished that drive with the touchdown, again, could be a crucial play in the game. And then the 2 fourth downs that the Bengals don't convert.
Yeah.
2 more big plays in the game. And frustratingly, I think both of them are go balls to Jermaine Burton. And I get it.
Can we also say, like, can you finish your point? I just definitely want to talk about these.
Yeah. So I get it. Joe Burrow has made his hay in the NFL on go balls. Jermaine Burton has shown that he can win on go balls. One of them was badly pressured. Pressure was a huge issue in this game that we haven't talked about at all yet. The other one, they just didn't connect for whatever reason. Clean enough throw, maybe not perfectly clean, but clean enough throw. They don't connect, and that's after a third down go ball. What did you want to add to that, Joe?
I just want to be clear I got a ton of comments about that's the play call. That's the play call we have on 4th down. That's the play call we have for a 2-point conversion. You throw to Tanner Hudson. You're throwing go balls to Jermaine Burton. We have to separate the two. The play call and where Burrow throws the ball have very little to do with each other other than what you build into the progression or what your options are, in total. If you have 4 or 5 options in a play, the play isn't to go to Tanner Hudson. The play is to go to probably Jamar Chase or Mike Gesicki, but they get doubled and get the Calvin Johnson treatment, and Gesicki gets thrown to the ground. So, like, you're not supposed to end up going to Tanner Hudson. But because you don't have T. Higgins, because you don't have Eric All, you're now going to 12 personnel. Hudson's the next best receiver, so he's on the field. The go balls, the other 4 guys on the play all have different routes and combinations, depending on what the defense does, depending on the looks you get, depending on who wins quickly and, like, catches Burrow's eye sometimes. He's going to go that way, and he's going to go for it. You got a single high safety, and you got Jermaine Burton running a go route. He's going to take it, and that's where the defense wants you to go with it. So, like, it's kind of like, how do you want to play that? But to blame Zach Taylor's play calling there are options underneath. There is Jamar Chase getting open over the middle. Does he have the time? Does he feel he has that time after getting pressured so often throughout the game that he doesn't feel like he could sit in there and make the best decision post snap? It's very different. The coach and the play caller does not tell the quarterback where to throw the ball unless it's the designed play, like the play on 4th down in the Eagles game to Jamar Chase that we all complained about, because you're only giving Burrow 1 option on that play. On this play, Burrow has 4 at least, and then the checkdowns, 4, potentially 5 options.
Yeah, and that's a great point, that the play call doesn't dictate that the ball goes deep here. Pressure was an issue on the night. We'll talk about that next. I just happen to have the dots of this play you're talking about, the 4th down, the second 4th down go ball to Jermaine Burton, because Ben Baby tweeted, and I didn't see this, Jamar was apparently pissed off after this one. Jamar Chase here, part of this bunch, is going to run this drag, and right here, nobody carries him.
A rub route, 80. Yoshi's taking both those defenders. Chase is going underneath. That should be wide open.
And it is. And the ball instead goes deep. And now in Burrow's defense here, where's Owe coming around the corner? How much is that in his face impacting this decision? Both go balls that he threw to Burton on 4th downs were influenced by pressure.
They were quicker than I think he wanted to be.
Yes. The first one, he thinks he can step up, quickly sets his feet, throws the ball deep. This one, I didn't realize was impacted by pressure as much as it appears to be here. He probably sees this pressure bearing down on him. He's about to get hit.
If I remember this play, he buckles and then throws it, right? Or is that the first one?
I think that's the first one.
Okay.
The first one, it looks like he thinks he can step up.
Yeah.
And then he can't, and then he flips it, like kind of flick of the wrist kind of throw. This one, I don't recall that being the case, but he, like we're saying here, there are other options on this play. Jamar Chase, the honestly probably the primary, looking at the play design here, but they get single high, and Joe Burrow knows if he has to throw quick, he can throw it out to Jermaine Burton there. So, a tough break there. One of several in this game for the Bengals. although they had plenty of breaks go their way as well. Joe Burrow has a couple of balls that could have been picked in this game. One of them, the Brandon Stevens makes a great play, baiting a throw, is barely out of bounds. The other one, just an ill-advised throw back over the middle to a tight end in the scramble drill.
That last touchdown, though, is the same coverage, that he almost threw the pick on, that the corner didn't squat down and is going back to the corner route on Jamar Chase. And this time, Burrow lays it up as high as possible. Looked like Santonio Holmes in the Super Bowl versus the Cardinals, right? You got to get it over both guys. You just catch it over them, get both toes down. Man, this should have been a game. This should have been one to make you go MVP. They're back in it. They're going to fight for this, and the team is back.
And it was such an outrageously good throw. I'm seeing if I can pull that one up here because here, nope, that's the 2-point play. Here we go. Let me make sure this is muted and we can put this back on the screen here. This is such an outrageous throw, man.
Crazy.
Like, are you kidding me?
I know. That's Santonio Holmes, right? You remember that play.
And Jamar with a beautiful high point gets the feet down easily. I mean, that throw is not open. That's not supposed to be open, man. That's a perfect throw to beat good coverage and double coverage at that, where a guy's sinking off of the underneath, getting back into that window, and Burrow just puts it over him. I mean, Burrow was good in this game. That's one of the frustrating things about it. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, absolutely fantastic. I mean, the stats tell the story here. 11 for 264 for Jamar Chase, 3 touchdowns. Obviously, a lot of looking at the back of the jersey for the Ravens defense as he's running away from them. Joe Burrow finishes with 428, 4 touchdowns, really only 1 sack. The others were like no gain kind of sacks where he's scrambling. 1 clean sack for Justin Madubuike in this game, despite being pressured
he was pressured
30 times.
Yeah. And he was so good under pressure, right? That was the main theme we took away from last week was like, man, Burrow's back. LSU Burrow's back. And he was, and he is, as long as we don't get him so banged up that he can't move anymore because he took some shots. But he is, and when he is, this offense, it can put up points with anyone. It can score in a flash, but also have these methodical drives that go off script and play out of structure and hit Jamar Chase and allow him to run after the catch. The one where Chase goes the whole way, that throw, stepping up and getting second window throw, the linebacker's diving because he almost gets there. It's such a good off-platform throw. This sucks. This is when I start getting mad because I've preached for so long, like quarterback play drives your team. We have the quarterback playing at an MVP level and they're 2 games under 500. Fuck.
Yeah. It's
earmuffs. Sorry, go back in time there.
It's the most frustrating thing about this season, I think, is that they're getting the quarterback play. Mm-hmm. They're getting the quarterback play despite being this depleted on offense, despite the pressure that they're dealing with. And here is that incredible throw, the first touchdown to Jamar Chase. It took me a little bit to find it here, but let's take a look at that one too, because what we're talking about here, as we take a look at it from the prime vision angle, which is beautiful. Also, it tells us the success rate at this point in the game, which is frustrating because that's a big advantage for the Bengals here, who probably, when we look at success rates, and let me just look at this really quick.
And EPA and everything, they're going to be
exactly equal on success rates over the course of the game. So the Ravens got there in the second half. But what we're looking at here is dagger. So Jermaine Burton's going to run that go clear out route. Often this is T. Higgins when he's healthy is running a dig. Will probably be around the 50-yard line, a deep dig. Mm-hmm. This is a bit of a shot play for them. But usually what you're going to see is this ball is going to come out in the first window. And I'll pause it when the ball.
I was going to say, if you can pause it at the first window, that'd be great.
So here's the clear out you see from Burton. There's the first window right here. This is where the ball often is coming out to Jamar Chase, right between these 2 players. Burrow.
Now, let me make one more point. He looks this guy off, right? Or does this guy know that first window, I'm going to jump into it because Burrow's usually getting this ball out in time?
Well, they run a ton of dagger.
Right.
That's a lot of teams run a ton of dagger, but also this isn't cover 2. This looks like it is cover 3. And maybe Burrow is for a moment considering the alert go because you've got the middle of field safety here running with the post.
Yep.
Or the over. So it might be that he's considering that for a second. He feels that pressure coming off the right side then. Where
slides away from it.
For some reason, because of the play action, Ted Karras is all the way out there playing tackle, helping Drew Sample out. And instead of that first window right here, where the ball is on Chase, like right around now. Like the ball will be on him as soon as he gets inside the numbers, most likely. You get it here. He steps up, throws off balance, off platform. It's a bit of a wobbler, but getting into that second window is so difficult. So difficult that I thought it was actually a backside dig when I first saw it. I DM'd you, backside dig.
I know.
And Mike Santagata luckily corrects me that this is in fact, this is just dagger. But this is so hard to get to. That's such high-level quarterbacking. And then obviously Jamar Chase running away through a pack of 4 Ravens, and good blocking from Yosavash to credit him there.
Yes.
But these plays didn't end up being enough. And that's what's so frustrating about it. Like, I want to look at all these awesome plays from this game and be like, man, look at all these highlights. Look at this Herculean effort from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to get the job done and to put the team over the hump. But instead, we're going to have to talk about officiating a little bit. We're going to talk about the defense melting down, the Chase Brown fumble. These are topics that we haven't gotten to enough.
The defense
melting down. That was one of them.
Oh, sorry, you did say that. It melts down multiple times.
and honestly, protection was a huge issue in this game too, early. The part of the reason the Bengals didn't go up earlier in this game is that when Joe was pressured early in this game, it was affecting them severely. He was like 3.0 yards per attempt on early pressures in this game. When I checked the PFF charting at halftime, and that obviously can change, and the final numbers will be different. And they were like 7 yards or so per attempt when he wasn't pressured, and he was being pressured on like 45% of your dropbacks. So that's a 25% worse offense or so because of protection issues, which have largely been good throughout the year, but they had issues at guard in this game. They had issues dealing with twists and stunts and communication in this game. Cody Ford remains an issue, and hopefully Orlando Brown Jr. can get back with a long week here.
They win with Orlando Brown, I feel like. They win with T. Higgins.
Yeah, the absences were felt big time. They probably win with Zach Moss, honestly. Like maybe not. Maybe that one's a step too far, but Eric Hall makes a big difference in this game too. When your third and fourth leaders in targets. I mean, Jamar Chase, 17 targets. They're getting nothing else from wide receiver. Chase Brown, 11 targets. Mike Gesicki, 9 targets, only catching 4 of them for 30 yards. Chase Brown, 11 targets for 52 yards. Not good. I mean, fine, but not good. Right. And Tanner Hudson, 7 targets. And Tanner Hudson was fine besides the drop.
He had a drop, yeah.
Had a good first down, converts a touchdown. So he's fine out there, but man, do they miss T. And they're not getting enough from Yoshi or Burton.
They're not.
And so they have a playmaker issue just as they have a protection issue. Before we continue, Joe, just want to remind the folks to use hashtag Burrow to Chase. You're seeing people spamming it in the chat. That's to give you a chance to win.
Yeah, that's not for the helmet.
18-inch clocks that we're giving away this week. Next week is the helmet. So you're going to want to be back next week when the Bengals have been flexed to primetime.
They're going to be on primetime a lot. They still have the Cowboys game, the Steelers game. It's not going away.
Are they all road games too? They have one more home game, maybe? Or have they gone? They've had the 2 home games. Washington and they have one more home game.
They have one more.
One more home primetime game.
But they flexed one more away to primetime. So, keep going the primetime away. It doesn't matter right now. The defense, again, can we buy a play? Can somebody make a play? Is it just Trey Hendrickson? Here's what was going through my mind the whole time. The defensive tackles looked, against Lamar, they're going to look extra unathletic. I thought BJ Hill flashed enough in this game, but where is Sheldon Rankins? And can I get Miles Murphy at that spot? Can I get Joseph Osai or Sam Hubbard at that spot?
Yeah.
Why do we continue to go 2 defensive tackles in obvious passing situations and Rankins can't do a thing? I don't care how much you're paying him. Get him off there. Give me an athlete that can at least chase down Lamar a little bit. Like that was frustrating me so much because it was all banked on Trey Hendrickson, save us, please, Trey Hendrickson. And you can't do it all the time. And then when you do get pressure, someone's got to make a tackle.
Yeah.
I think it was 13 missed tackles I saw after the long 70-something yard touchdown. There were 3 guys miss it. It was at 13 missed tackles for the game. Stop looking at that point because it was 15 the previous time. You can't win like that. That can't happen. The defense was good for the first half. They were good. And you just felt like it was on borrowed time again.
And they got the stop to start the second half.
Yeah.
Man, there are so many frustrating things about this game. They get the stop to start the second half. The Bengals get the touchdown. They get another stop. They're up 21-7 and then the fumble. And not only that, like I had just finished DMing someone man, it's huge that they didn't just go 3 and out there. Right after Tanner Hudson picks up that first down on 3rd and 6, like, man, huge to just not go 3 and out, just to gain some yards, get out from the 8-yard line, give yourself a chance to get the drive going. And I did have a pit in my stomach, I admit there. Maybe that's just my cynicism at this point in the season because we've seen things go this way for the Bengals so many times. It was like, can they do it? Can they get over this bugaboo? Can they make these plays when they need to make these plays? And then we get the Chase Brown fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do we get the Chase Brown fumble, then we get a punt from the 40.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Weird, right? That felt weird.
Well, it was 4th and 16. That's when.
But kick the field goal. That's 57, 58.
Yeah, they clearly, maybe not clearly. Maybe it's too soon to say clearly, but it feels like they've clearly lost some trust in Evan McPherson in that kicking operation in this game.
Yeah, because that's the one McPherson's there for. It's 4th and 16. It's a 50-plus yarder. Like, that's his job. That's his value. And we've had this discussion. If you're going to kick them, they got to be in those situations.
And knowing Zach Taylor, is he going for it on 4th and 2 from the 41 if he trusts Evan McPherson when they're up 7-0 in the first half? Or is he trying to take 3 points in the pass? Like, maybe that's part of the calculus for Taylor is we're praising him for his aggression in this game.
I mean, that should be part of the calculus, right? What trust do we have in our kicker right now? I felt like it went too far. This is the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. Felt like it went too far of trusting McPherson where it didn't even analytically make sense to kick at points. Now they're going for it, which makes me happy. But there are obvious situations. That 4th and 16 was one where I was like, wait a second. And then they scored right away. The Ravens did.
The tackling on the Tyler Wallace play that you reminded me of
insane.
Was, boy.
Low effort plays, right? Logan Wilson's jogging. Geno Stone is jogging. And then they both try to push him out of bounds. What are we doing?
Geno Stone, how many tackles do you think he missed in this game?
I bet he missed more than he made.
I would guess that's probably true.
I
can think of at least 3
where he misses more than he's made.
Geno Stone has not been the safety addition that they needed him to be.
They were potentially better at safety last year, even with the explosives. At least they were fast. At least they were ran downhill and tried to make plays. Jordan Battle will. Dax Hill was, right? Like, they can't be happy with this.
Side note, very minor issue. There's a play on one of the last 2 drives for the Ravens. I think it's a Mark Andrews touchdown, actually.
Yeah.
Where they blitz Von Bell. And there's just no chance. You're wasting a body to try to blitz Von Bell there. Anyway, I did think Jordan Battle played a solid game. He showed up in run defense a few times.
He's physical.
He can't really defend the pass too well against some of the good players, and he ends up in those matchups sometimes. But
they try to put him one-on-one with Andrews, and they did it. What was it against the Eagles? And it's not his game.
No. Some snap count notes. It looks like Joseph Osai continues to outsnap Miles Murphy. Miles Murphy with at least 3 pressures on the night, working against. And this is a place they needed to win. Was on that right side against Roger Rosengarten, and they didn't do it enough. For whatever reason, they just seem to really lack in getting pressure on the Ravens this year.
Yeah, whatever. If they're trying to must rush or keep them in the pocket or whatever's going on there, it's not working. And I don't know, they're trying to like power everything and let Trey run around the outside. Almost worked a couple times. I thought he was going to get a forced fumble on one. But I did know, halfway through the third quarter when I was still feeling good about the game and the defense, I was like, I actually like the rotation at the DN right now between Hubbard and Osai and Murphy. They seem to be getting the best out of all 3 of those guys. And, whatever your players are, whatever the skill level is at any position, you got to find the right mix to get the best out of them. And I thought they were at that point. It's just, the rest of the game, I'm like, you need who can win? Can someone get a pass rush? And they couldn't.
I'm kind of at a loss for words here, Joe. Like, what else do we need to hit? Do we talk about the officiating? It sucks that the officiating comes up on that 2-point try. I think it impacts the play too. Mike Gesicki is part of that initial read for Joe Burrow. Mike Gesicki is not an option because he's tossed. And then Joe Burrow gets hit in the face mask as well. I don't know what Burrow needs to do to start getting some calls. We can take a look at a couple of these. He also took a late hit from Marlon Humphrey that I was shocked wasn't called. I didn't even notice it.
I saw it when it happened.
We can look at that one here quickly.
So also,
go ahead.
This is the most flag happy crew too. I'm sure
Yeah.
you saw that beforehand, right? And to not call these on the last drive, the Ravens are 32nd in net penalty yards per game. Like throughout the game, I'm thinking the Bengals are winning this. The Bengals are winning the penalty
Yes.
battle here. And it saved them a couple of times and it gave them the advantage a couple of times. But you have the most disciplined team in terms of penalties versus the team that's getting beat the most by penalties this year. That should happen. So I wasn't surprised. But then you get to the final drive and I'm like, all right, you just swallow the whistle on the flags. Like that's not right. That's weird.
On multiple plays. This was not the final drive, to be clear, but this is one of the more egregious missed calls to me of the night. And we'll just play it at half speed here. Marlon Humphrey, eyes up. There goes the ball. 1, 2, unnecessary. And this hurt Burrow too. Like you can see him grimace when he gets up.
He's got bruised ribs.
They're talking about it twice twice when he tries to pick up his helmet on the sideline. There's a couple of no calls on PIs in this game that you could argue pretty well as well. Added to the list of things that are frustrating in this game.
Yeah.
But it's not more frustrating to me, I would say, than
what is the most frustrating thing?
I think it's a roster construction. I think it's a roster construction outside of a few players that are playing well. The injuries are frustrating too. They're missing some players that obviously make a difference in this game. The Ravens, well on the upper hand for the injury advantage in this game. I think even with losing Kyle Hamilton, which is a big blow for them in the game. The Bengals being down T. Higgins, Orlando Brown, and even Eric All, I think is a big deal. But to me, the most frustrating thing is just like, you got Jamar, you got Joe playing at this insane level. That should be enough. But your defense is so bad and just melts down so hard. And I know the Ravens are a good offense, but they could not make a play in the second half. Cam Taylor-Britt makes that play, different conversation, right?
Sure, it's a different game. They may win right on the spot.
They don't make that play. If Chase Brown doesn't fumble, and I like Chase Brown, and I was impressed with a number of his carries in this game. But you have these plays where the guys
just drops too from Chase Brown. His ball handling right now is sending up alerts for me. Just the way he's carrying it, holding it. I also had an issue on that run because the O-line's still at the line of scrimmage. Like that should be a more traffic type play where they don't get to hold him up and rip it out of there. Everyone should be driving forward and pushing there. It's like this O-line still can't run block, and it shows no fight and passion when run blocking at all.
No, they're not a physical team in the trenches.
No,
they
on both sides, and they were for the first half, but that was it.
They're holding on for dear life on the offensive side of the ball, though. Like they're just trying not to lose too quickly. There's no winning on that side of the trenches right now, and man, it's hard to pinpoint the most frustrating thing here. I think it's just that Joe and Jamar are playing so well, and the entire team around them is melting down. It's not just the defense. Like the defense got them stops early, and then protection was so bad. And Burrow did miss a couple throws in the first half in scramble drills, but he missed a couple throws. The offense didn't play complimentary football then. And then when the offense was going, the defense can't do anything. And Chase Brown's having issues. The offensive line's having issues. It's just very frustrating to watch the top end of your team be playing, and your quarterback to be playing at an MVP level, and you're 4-6, and you're losing all these close games.
No, you're right. That is the most frustrating part. When you articulated that well. When I was just leaning on like, the defense really let them down. I keep thinking of that 3 missed tackle, long touchdown. And I'm like, you know what? For the most part, that is the frustration, is that they can't do it together. The offense and defense do not play well at the same times. And that's what championship teams do. That's what they look like. It's an underrated thing that you don't really always respect. And I think the aggressiveness too early from Zach Taylor, I think that stuff is infectious. I think that's good for this team. I think they need to feel that way. The defense maybe was feeding off it a little bit, like, hey, you trust us to make plays. And then when they fail on 4th down, I think that starts to crack your bravado a little bit of what you feel like you can do on defense. And maybe that's wishful thinking, but it does feel like they used to make those plays and they were more aggressive 2 years ago. And now that they're a little less aggressive, a little less on 4th down, or can't make the plays when they need to, it starts to crack them a little bit more and more as the game goes on, and they get to these final games. There are these final moments in big games, and they're just unable to capitalize and close.
A little less talented too. Added
That
to the
for sure.
things are a little
Yeah.
less, maybe a lot less. Frustrating game. Deserving of 2 F-bombs. Hopefully that's
no doubt.
not violating any FCC regulations here on YouTube. I don't know if the FCC even regulates YouTube. Let's get to our giveaway, and we will give away. We've got a clock to give away. We've got a Twitter winner as well to give away for the clock, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't see that actually. If Berkey, if you're behind the scenes there, we didn't discuss the Twitter giveaway. If you have that loaded up or not.
There it is.
Okay. Ryan Sparks. Ryando Sparks. Nice.
Ryando Sparks. Bringing home the Bengals 18-inch neon clock to spice up your Bengals viewing room experience. We've got one more to give away for those of you that entered the hashtag Burrow to Chase, which was indeed the connection of the night. And many people very upset with Zach Taylor as well. Something that I think the conversation for another day as the team continues.
What week will be the hashtag Fire Zach?
Fire Zach.
I mean, week 13, 14. Let's just do the giveaway.
Let's run another giveaway. Who we got?
Bruce Gebhardt.
Congrats to Bruce. Congrats to both of our winners. Enjoy your Bengals 18-inch neon clocks. Hang them up on your wall. Show us the pictures. We asked for some pictures of, what was it, the belts? Did we ever get those?
A few things. Everything. I'd like pictures of every single thing. I want to see a video of you drinking the bourbon. If
you're here and you've won something from us, tag at Joe Goodberry, at Jake Liscow, at First Star Log on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
I've personally shipped some things out, so I know you're getting them.
Yeah. Let's see the stuff. Let's see the prizes. Let's have some fun with it. Hope y'all can go to bed. I've had a few people DM me that they've been up for a very long time, especially the UK viewers out there, that they're not sure they're going to be able to sleep even after all that. But man, that's tough.
This sucks.
We'll be back next week. Okay, yeah.
One final. Because season's over. It does feel that way. The odds are stacked against them once again. Another hole they'll have to dig out of. But they still play the Steelers twice, Broncos and Chargers. Those are the teams in front of them for the wild card. Anything could still happen. That's not how you want to get in there. You got to beat a good team eventually. But yeah.
They what was it, a 30% probability swing according to the PFF model tonight?
54-24, basically.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Jake and Joe Show presented by First Star Logistics. They're hiring, by the way. You can check that out with the First Star Logistics team, one of the fastest growing companies in Cincinnati that continues to give us the opportunity to put this show on for y'all week after week with awesome stuff to give away. And a reminder that next week, don't miss it, we've got those Joe Burrow autographed helmets to give away, which I don't know. They keep topping it somehow, Joe. Keeps getting better.
I want that.
I do too, man. Can't wait to see who wins that one next week here on the Jake and Joe Postgame Show presented by First Star Logistics.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.